Okay, let's pray. Dear God, we thank you that today again we can come to study how to build your church and how to serve you. I pray for your wisdom for our students. Help us and guide us. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Okay, we're going to go on. Let's see. Chapter 6 on multicultural church. Tonight we talk about leadership diversity. Start from lead pastor. This is in the past we call senior pastor, but today they prefer to call lead pastor. So it's almost like senior, or some even call executive pastor. But the word lead pastor is the most popular word that they use today. In the situation that the church have many staff or many pastors, one of them going to be the lead pastor, mean that the one who guide the church, the one who preach most of the time, the one who take care of most of the teaching. So we call lead pastor. So it depends on denomination. Some denomination like the Presbyterian or Episcopal, the lead pastor that might not have a lot of power. The board of deacon or the board of presbyter have more power. But in the Baptist situation, the lead pastor have a lot of power. He almost run the church with his team. So it depends on your denomination. But anyway, lead pastor should be the leader of the whole staff of a church. He the one who have the vision and guide the team to do a lot of things. And he need to approve, agree with the project. If not, nothing move. So compared to business, he like ECO or executive director of a business. Now, when we talk about multicultural church, a lead pastor depends. Most of the time, the lead pastor is represent the majority of the church. If it's a majority white church, for sure, the lead pastor is white. And especially in America, most of the time, the multicultural churches are white majority. Some will have some percentage of black, some percentage of Hispanics, and very few Asian. But they intend to be multicultural. It's different from regular church. Regular church is just regular white church and have some minority join the church, but they never consider multicultural. Why? Because all the leadership, all the plan, all the goal is just for majority, for the white majority. They never think about incorporate the minority or other culture to be leadership. But the chapter we're going to present something different. We just dream of a church who want to share leadership, share a vision with all kind of culture. And I say a dream church means that in reality is almost non-existent. A church that have all kind of leadership from all represent all ethnic group, or culture in the community. You cannot find one, exactly. But it doesn't mean that it's impossible. It's possible. If people who have a vision and thinking about corporate all people into one church, we can compare to the church in Jerusalem. In the first century, the church in Jerusalem have one church, but the people who come to worship there come from all kind of culture. They have Jew, they have Arab, They have Greek, they have Roman, they have Asian, and many Arab, and even some from African country. So the church in Jerusalem is multicultural. They speak different languages, they come from different culture. Yes, the first group of leadership or the apostle are Jew, but later on you will see that they will incorporate more leadership, like all the deacon. Many more deacon come from more diverse culture now. Some are Greek, some are Roman. So you see that they try to take more people to lead the church and care about different culture too. You remember that in the early church, the widow of the Greek complained to the apostle that, oh, they were neglected because the leadership taking care of most of the time of the Jewish widow and people. So the apostle know the problem. So the apostle tried to cooperate more leadership from different culture into the leadership team. Now, why we need that? Well, there are many answers for that. Why a church needs more diversity? Because we all come from different culture, different background, but we're going to make one church for Jesus. But in the same time, we need to care about differences, that we just don't ignore them. And this is the real church supposed to be. And some people say that where to start. Some people say that it starts from the bottom up, but sometimes it doesn't work that way. The church offer that God wanted to start from the top down. What that mean? It starts with God. God is not the Jewish God. God is the God of the universe for everyone. So start with God who loved everyone, who died for all mankind. Then the leadership of the church from the senior pastor or from the lead pastor down to everyone need to be ready to accept differences. Diversity in leadership, in the way we think, in the way we act, in the way we accept one another. People say that we grew up in different environment, yes, but it doesn't mean that we cannot learn from another people. It means that the leadership in church support to open heart, open mind, and learn from other people, and share leadership with other people too. So if the church start doing that, this is the real church. A church cannot be just for one group of people. Now we come closer to us. Most of us are minority church, mean that we are the church of one language, one culture. Why we start that way? Well, it starts because of necessity. We come here in a new country. We don't have a lot of friends or family. So we stay together as a group of one culture. And it passed on that you see the first generation stay very close together. But now we come to the second, to the third generation who are American born. And in order for them to cooperate, integrate into American culture, one church of one culture is so difficult for them. So at least sometimes something have to be done for them, mean that they don't speak the language of their ancestor anymore. They speak only English. They went to American school. They learned all American culture. And now, like it or not, they are American. So they're going to be the one who build a new generation of churches that come with many culture because they have a good background to start with. How they going to build a church with diversity, different culture, different background, because they themselves come from a different group, and they come together for a purpose to build a real church. You might be surprised that in the future, the multicultural churches not start with majority white, but start with minority. People who come from many parts of the world will come together to build the multicultural church. And not many people in the church are majority. It means that we are minority, but we stay together to build a church. And the third requirement, besides the leadership need to share power of vision, it means that all need to take time to learn about the differences. Some people say, why waste of time learning about other people? Oh, it's not wasting of time. Our whole life we learn about differences. We learn how to live with each other. And the real church is the one that we care for differences, for different other people who need God. So the church have to be that way. And the good thing is when people see that the church care for one another, the church care for everyone, and everyone feel that they can do something for the church too. But if a church that have a big group of majority, so a lot of minority have no chance to do anything. So I don't mean that in the future all churches have to be mixed. No. The fact is people still prefer to stay with the people that look similar to them. And that really human nature. So in the future, we'll see a lot of churches that just for one group of people, only white, only black, only Asian, or only Spanish. It's going to be that way a lot. But in the same time, we're going to see more multicultural churches, more multi-ethnic churches that form in America, especially in big states like California, Texas, or New York. So this is the fact that will happen. So the good thing about the church that come from different culture is we have different thinking. We have different way to look at everything. And it makes life more interesting this way. And the church supposed to be this way from the beginning. And in fact, in heaven, we all have one church, one group of believers. So we don't have different churches. We don't have different culture in heaven. It's just one church. Now, this is some advice how to make your church more diversity. Mean that how you accept people that different from you to join your church. They say that the first, give them chance, give them opportunity. Don't push them away. Welcome them to be part of your church. Accept them the way they are. So when you welcome people who are different from you to join your church, your group, it means that you give them a chance, not just to worship, but to serve and to be part of you. And what you can do after that, be intentional. So what that means? It not happen by accident. You need to be intentional, mean that you plan to invite people. You plan to ask people to join you and to work with you. Don't just sit there and wait something will happen. No, you plan for it to happen. You make it happen. So it's different. Intentionally mean that you plan, you intend, and you do it. Instead of sit there waiting, something will happen. No, that might never happen. That might never come true unless you intentionally make it happen. You invite people, You welcome people and you ask them to do something for you or for your church. So that means intentional to make it happen. So this is something that we need to take a step to do that, to make it happen. And examine policy. You might be surprised that some churches will never have other people to join you because you build a wall around yourself. You put all the obstacles that people cannot join you. I heard some churches demand that people need to come to class for a few months, like 6 months or a year, before they can join the church. Some churches say that people need to be baptized in their church. And to welcome them is not in a few weeks. It takes a few months up to a few years. So we need to think about our policy. We might not encourage people to join you. We might stop people from take part in your church because of our policy. Number 4 that your church need to do is respect the differences in culture. And when I say differences, mean that sometimes from your culture perspective, something from a different culture might not be polite. Or your culture cannot accept that thing. But for some culture, it's okay. So we need to learn about differences and respect the differences. It doesn't mean that we are better or they are better. It's just difference. Because we grew up, we live in the different environment. And because of necessity, our ancestors make some culture or something that for us to survive or to do well. But it might not mean necessarily from another culture. It's so different. So this is something we need to learn and need to learn to respect the differences. A lot of time they have good reason why they have that culture. And this is another thing that we need to make a difference. The culture that not against Christian teaching we can keep, but some old culture that against Christian belief or teaching, we need to get rid of them. We cannot say that we have this culture for several hundred years or several thousand years, but if it's against Christian teaching, we need to get rid of it. We cannot keep it because God is more important and God is everything that we have. We are not building a church to keep our culture. We build a church to worship God and to learn about God. So the Bible is still supreme, still the most important thing for us. Okay, but differences in many things is okay. We accept and we can work with. And number 5, they recommend that don't hide differences. Don't hide something from a different culture. Accept it. And in order to accept it, we need to talk about it. We need to learn about it. We don't need to hide. We don't need to be shy. It's just differences. And people want to know why we do certain things. Well, if you know the reason, you can explain to people, and people will respect that. Our ancestors make that thing for a good reason. And we can learn from one another. And we can respect each other even more. It helps a lot. Especially in the Church of God, we need to understand each other better. And number 6, the advice in order to have the multicultural churches, the church that have different group of people, it means that we emphasize relationship, we emphasize love, not just program or some other important thing, but relationship. Well, some people say program can build relationship. Yes, some, not all. And some activity can help build relationship, not all. So you need to realize and think about all the programs that your church have. What can build relationship best? Some churches is potluck or picnic or retreat or something that you can spend time together to talk, to relax, and to make friends. So that's something that your church needs to incorporate into your church activity. Well, we still need Bible study, we still need music practicing, we still need many other things, yes. But people who want to join a certain activity, they need to have a lot of interest to join. But the church needs to make something for everyone that everyone can join. The potluck, dinner, and or similar thing, everyone can join. Young, old, male, female, or everyone can join, even friend, not only member, can join for potluck and for dinner or for picnic. I found out that picnic work very well with most culture, especially for Asian culture. If the church have picnic somewhere, invite people, most people will show up. And in that picnic, you can have worship time, you can have small group, and you can have singing. To start with that, and people feel comfortable, and they feel that they can become friends, learn about each other by the church pay attention to the program that can build relationship and can make people feel comfortable to be friends, to make friends. So this is how to build a cultural churches or multi-ethnic churches, make it successful. Okay, I want to stop here a little bit and come to check with you that what program that your church used to make it possible to have different groups to join your church. Your church use picnic, retreat, dinner, or you have classes, or your leadership have program, or your church have policy. What your church use in order to come to this point to make a multi-ethnic, multicultural church successful? Okay, I will come to you and ask you, Chair. What your church do?
Can I share first?
Yes, please, go.
We don't have that much going, but we do once a year, probably like we do camping, and we can invite a lot of people come join us for the camping, and then we have a class, we have a program for the Bible study, and we have a preaching, and we have a singing. So I bring all that my equipment up there, set it up for the people singing, and we um and a lot of church they reject those they like when they marry they don't they get married before uh they they have children before they marry, and then they reject them, and they refuse to uh get them married, and then we say, well, we open, just come to our church, we can help. And people think they make so too much sin, and they have a divorce, and they kind of reject those people, and then we say, well, just come to our church, and we accept everybody. So we don't have a big church, but we people call our church as a sinner church. So we said we accept all the people, doesn't matter what kind of situation they have, and we accept them coming to our church. So
You know that people look at church in different way. Some people look at church as a holy place. Only holy people can join. That the temple in the Old Testament time, everyone who not holy, not clean, cannot join. You know that the priest stand at the door. When they say clean, mean that you just take a bath, you wash your clothes, you don't smell bad, you can come. But you smell bad, you don't have shower, you don't feel good, your clothes dirty, the priest will reject you. And if the priest know that you divorced, you have not a good life, they reject you. They won't allow you. But Jesus said that the sick people need doctor. He come for the sick, come for the sinner. So Jesus welcome prostitute, murderer, bad people, and help them. So the church for Jesus is the hospital. Sick people come. If you open a hospital and you kick all the sick people out while you are a hospital. So sick people need God. Sinner need God. So a church is the hospital of the spirit. So which one that you think that your church going to be?
so that's why our church have a lot of single parents.
Mm,
They divorce.
yeah, people need God. If they can help themselves, they don't need God. Well, but I don't blame the group that they want good people to join them. They have good intention, but I think that that's not what God wants us to do.
That's one problem they have. They say when people they um get divorced before and then they cannot do anything. So they just sit and listen. That's it. So they cannot be a person like a choir singer or like the to do something inside the church. So they kind of reject those and people when their lives change, so they would like to serve God. They would like to do something inside the church, but the single parent they are not allowed to do anything inside the church. So we say it's okay, if you feel comfortable, if you want to serve God, it's fine. We don't look at your um, history, and we look at you right now and how much you want to do with God. So we accept everybody. So
Well, I think some of the requirement maybe come with your culture. I know some churches in Thailand very strict on everything too, and I respect their reason. Like most churches in Thailand, if you are the leader and you divorce, they kick you out. When they say kick out, it not just mean kick out from your position. They kick you out of membership too.
so do you, so Achan, is that a right way to do or what do you?
I come to the point of, well, both sides, you see, I feel that the church need to welcome everyone who need God. Doesn't matter who they are. But to be leader in some way, I think the church have the right to require a certain quality for leadership. But to be member, I think the church need to welcome everyone. But when I say leadership, I mean pastor, deacon, elder. Those the Bible demand higher quality or standard. But many other service of churches, I think anyone who confess their sin, accept Jesus, come back to God, can serve. I believe that.
So it's kind of hard to say with that Samaritan woman married 5, 6 husbands,
Mm-hmm.
and Jesus, he is special. Go meet that Samaritan woman in the well,
Yes.
and let the woman carry the good news to her people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's no problem. You see, everyone can serve God in certain things. But as I say that Paul demand that to be a pastor, elder, or deacon, Paul demand higher standard. But the rest of believers, they can do anything without those positions.
So, Achan, you say about that deacon, pastor, and uh, what out?
Elder,
The elder.
I say the Bible demand that, but I'm pretty open. It depends on churches. You know that 50% of American people are divorced. And in American churches, it's the same number. So it means that in any American churches, half of the people who sit there are divorced. And it's not just the member, leadership, pastor, elder, deacon, a lot of them are divorced people too.
How about the um the leader for the choir singer?
Well, for me, I feel that except at Paul said, elder, deacon, pastor, supposed to be high standard. The rest, I think that anyone who confess their sin, accept Jesus, join the church, I think they can do anything. They can serve in any position. If God called them. Yeah, I put one condition that if God called them and God using them. But I respect a lot of churches when they decide what is best for them. So I think that culture get involved. And Paul also allowed that. Paul say, I will be a Roman to reach out to the Roman. I will be a Greek in order to work with the Greek. So that means Paul accept the Greek culture, the Roman culture in those churches too. It's not about faith, it's about culture. So I know that a lot of your churches demand a certain thing. It's not about theology, it's about culture. Yeah,
For about talk about the deacon or the leadership. if we have experience for the Mian people before they become Christian, they already married two ladies, but they still live together. But after that, maybe about 10 years, 20 years in Christian, and then people pointed to those guys that that's qualified for the leadership or deacon. So is that allowable or not supposed to?
Most churches say that a lot of things we did before we become believer don't count. But still, the church still demand that they need to live with just one wife, but take care of both. They cannot have two wives in the same time as a believer, but they can serve because all those things happened before they became a believer. So that thing don't count.
But anyway, so we have to separate the.
There can be just one wife, one husband. And another one that you have to take care, but I don't know how they're going to do that. But at the church, early church, they have that problem too.
Yeah, same thing as the Apostle Paul mentioned about that, like chapter, First Timothy chapter 3, verse 12. What it is very clear.
Yeah. Yeah, they can just have one wife, one husband. In Paul time, they hit a lot of problem on that. And you remember a case in 1 Corinthians 2, that a guy married his father wife.
That's a second mother, huh?
And Paul said, no, you cannot do that. At first, the church did not do anything because they become part of their culture. But Paul said, no, cannot do that. So the church kicked that guy out of the church. And Paul said, no, that's too far. That guy confessed their sin, they correct their mistake, they don't do that anymore. They separate. So Paul said the church need to bring him back. Don't kick him out.
Hate the sin, but not the people.
Yeah. So finally, the church bring him back because he confessed his sin, he correct the mistake, and the church need to welcome him back. So it doesn't mean that no hope, no chance for those people. There's still hope. They still have chance. They still can serve. Okay, what's else your church done to welcome people or to make new people feel comfortable at your church? Your church try picnic or retreat?
Yeah, John, in our church we have several programs like men's camp. Every year we have that one. Also we have a
Leadership revival.
yeah, revival.
Mm.
1 year we have one time.
Quarterly. No, we have quarterly.
No, once a year for the
Revival.
And then we have the one compassionate ministry. And also we have that for women's group, women's retreat. Yeah, that's all we have in our church.
So when you have all those activity, non-member join you, or new
Yes,
people
Yeah.
join you?
yes.
Sometimes, yeah, they, new people, they come and join us.
Hmm. So the whole purpose is to outreach to new people, different people from what you already have.
Yes.
So anything that works, you need to try.
Mhm. And before the COVID time, and we also have the New Year's, Mien, culture New Year's. And we
Hmm.
have celebration that one, and to invite,
Or non-believer.
yeah, non-believer to join us. But since the COVID time, and then we don't have anymore. I don't
Well,
know, maybe next year or something. I don't know yet.
well, if anything works, you should try it again.
We'll see. Keep
Hmm.
praying.
So the whole goal is to let people have a chance.
For I volunteer at the food ministry on our American side. So the
Yeah.
way there, it's they would invite the neighbor.
Hmm.
We would invite all the neighbor, like all the neighbor around our church to come get food. So when they come get food, you know, like they introduce ourselves, we introduce ourselves, you know, they tell their story, we tell our story.
Hmm.
And then we also invite them to come to church on Sunday with the American side. So that's how we introduce like the non-Christian people.
Hmm. That's good. So anything that you can get in touch with the community, with new people, you need to try. I know some churches will say that after they try for a few months, they say, not worth it, and they stop. How you think about that thinking?
Should continue to try it, John.
Yes, you
Same
know that
thing.
missionary went to Thailand sometime for 100 years, no believer, no church. You ask Ajahn Callaway how many years before the first one become believer? 100 years ago, most missionaries never bring anyone to believe in Jesus. For 30, 40 years until they retire, none. But they keep working, they keep going.
Ajahn,
Yeah.
to our experience, we did have a new believer a lot because we have the camping, Ajahn. We invite for non-believer for no fee.
That's for the men's camp.
Yeah, men's camp. We do have men's camp and women's camp before too. We invite a lot of non-believer get into it, and then we provide all the fee, and then we don't let them pay for it. And then we got some believer get into with that gap. Yeah.
I agree with you. The camping work very well with Asian culture. It's a good investment. Every camping, you will get new believer, new people join your church.
Yeah.
Why? They spend some time living with Christian, real Christian, and they felt the love of God. They felt God really working. And that is the way that it worked very well. And you might be surprised that it's not just your people from your culture. Any people will be touched by that too. Our church used to invite all kind of people, American, Black, Hispanic, It's work with every culture. They feel that they have a family who care for them. So that worked very well in the past. Yes, COVID stopped everything, but this year we will start it again. COVID scared a lot of people away from the church, from all the work. In fact, we should not use it as excuse anymore.
Lots of people.
Ajahn, one is bad, one is good too. The
see,
COVID,
can be
the
also-
experience for us, we have Zoom, like Kao, me, and my brother-in-law, Ilua. We do have a new believer believe in the Zoom. We do have baptism for them. We get a new believer in Zoom. Yeah, that also good. Another way is bad, but you know.
Also, we can, people, those who could not read in Nian's word, and then it's good way we teach them word by word. And most people learn a lot from that in the Zoom.
Yeah, it opened a new world for us.
Mm.
Yes,
We never dreamed that we can connect with our brother, sister in another country.
yes.
Mm.
Yeah, COVID is bad, is real bad, but it's bring back to good because, change a lot of people's life from there.
Mhm.
And then something good to bad because even right now, even today, some people and some church, even they can have some new member in, but the old member, they step out. By the day, Sunday, they want to go to church. Sunday, they stay up to the mountain somewhere.
Mm.
Sunday, if they still at a casino somewhere. How this can bring the new people, how they can lead some other members to continue serving God. This is not a new family or new member. This is the older beliefs of 30, 40 years ago. But still keep doing this, how we can solve this problem.
Well,
It's the issue right now.
I think the church need to adapt because things change all the time. We used to live in a certain time and think that nothing could change, but God showed us that everything changed all the time. And the church just have to be ready to change.
And between right now, I call second COVID because this government right now, they keep on deportation on the board right now.
Mm.
I call second COVID. It's very happens to anybody, to happen to any family right now. So I keep on praying myself and keep praying for every relationship. If someday somehow happen to their family, this is still a problem. I don't know how we can solve it. We can only act for God, only pray for God to protect the family.
Well, in the future, that Jesus say in the end time, a lot of bad things will happen. It's just we have to be ready. And COVID is very bad, but in the future, something even worse will come. So the church just have to be ready for anything. And we need to be flexible to adjust to any situation. I mentioned before that in America, every year for the last 10 years, 5,000 churches closed down every year in America. But around 2,000 new churches born. But you see, the death and the birth is not the same amount. So it means that every year we lose around 3,000 churches. And people join the church less and less. Yes, some old people die, and a lot of young people don't come back to church. They left the church. So that's another thing that we need to find out how to make young people come back to church. In a week, I go to preach in the Men Young Adult Revival. And I hope and pray that God can motivate young people back to church in some way. We need them, and they're going to be the new leader group for all churches, especially for men churches, not just in America, but all over the world too. I believe that it starts with the men young people in America. The Bible had to start here. So praying for them. And last Tuesday, I have a meeting with their leadership. And they say that they allow anyone who want to come. But it's just no translation. It's just in English only. Okay, let me go back to the rest of the note. Okay, so now we come deeper. What is diverse leadership? It means that the group that run the church have to come from different culture, different background, in order to share all the differences that the church can represent. But today, majority of churches just have one group of people run the whole church. You see that because either white church, black church, Asian church, or some other group, you see the whole leadership is just one group of people run the whole church. So this is the normal style. But as I say that in the future, we need to change something on that. Leadership and the whole team need to have more different people sit there from different culture. Why? Because especially in America, we are not just one group of people anymore. We have people from all over the world. And the church needs to represent that way. How to do that? You have to start with our leadership. Welcome differences. Welcome different group of people. To start with leadership, that I say, it starts from top down, not from bottom up. It starts with God, who welcomed the whole world, all nations, all people to his kingdom. So the leader needs to know the fact that our culture is so different. And we cannot just concentrate on one group. We need to open up to all groups and work with everyone. A lot of time we don't want to work with anyone, but we need to learn how to work with different groups, different churches, different culture. Well, at first it might not feel comfortable and it's not easy, but we need to learn to work on that way. And another thing they say, we need to have commitment, mean that it's not going to be easy. And it's not going to take a few months. It's going to be difficult and take many years. or even many generations. But we need to make commitment that we won't give up, we won't stop. We will keep reaching out to different group of people. Whoever God sent to us, we welcome them. Don't say that we just welcome one group of people. We welcome everyone. And we want them to know God and to be part of us. And another word they use here is curiosity, mean that don't scare of differences, but want to learn, feel exciting that we got to learn something new from different people, from different culture that God going to send to us, and we're going to learn how to live with that, to make it part of us, and we become part of it in the same time. Now they say that what is the good point? Try to make more people from different culture to join us. The first thing they said, this is a better profile, mean that a real church is supposed to be that way. Today, we are not in the perfect church, mean that most of us are from the same culture, same language, same group of people. And we already say that because of necessity, we come here with our family, we live in a new country, so we try to get together to support one another to start with. But in the long term, if we live here permanently, whole life, we need to change something. Because one group of one culture in America might not last or survive long. We talk about our children, grandchildren generation who are going to be here in America. They need to welcome differences to join them, to build a stronger church. There's no choice. And increase employee retention. This is talk about in business perspective or big churches. When you have variety of people work with you, people feel comfortable and feel that we are the team. But if the whole team is just one culture, one group, nobody can get in. Nobody feel welcome or feel comfortable. And this is talk from the staff perspective. And number three, they said, if your church welcome differences, they say your church is very innovation, mean that you adapt to new things real quick. And this is important. A lot of churches don't want to change, don't want to accept new things. And if you have that kind of thinking, your church not going to last long. Your church not going to survive long. Because change comes all the time and fast. It starts with our children generation. They feel that they not feel welcome at your own church now, because they feel that you as the parent or grandparent don't understand them, don't accept them, even they are your children. So this is something that we learn to accept and to be part of it. More authentic representation. It means that we talk about reality, the world changing. America is a big country with all people come from all over the world. And in the future, we cannot just keep our church small to ourselves. If God going to use us, we need to be a church that more people can join and more different people can be part of our church. So this is something that reality will come to our church. And we need to learn. I know I talk with some old people. They say that our church will die with me. So what that mean? It means that I'm not going to change. I will sit here waiting until I'm the last one and die, and the church closed down. So, well, I said this is not a good way of thinking of the church of God. We need to be the place that everyone can come to God all the time. It's not our church, it's the church of God. So the church never die. The church will go on. Now, the next section talk about how we're going to make it happen as a leader. As a leader, or you are in the position that can make decision, you need to think about the whole thing, that this is the plan of God. This is not your church. This is the church of God. And God wants the church that welcome everyone and everyone feel part of it. And I say all the time that for some time we need a church that speak our language, have our culture, because we are the first generation. But after us, how the church will go on. This is the church of God. It have to keep going. It have to be survived even we die, but the church have to go on. In order to do that, we need to accept different people into our church. And all the leadership need to have the same idea, same thinking, that this is the church of God. This is not our church. This is not my church. The church will go on. And we will welcome everyone who God sent to us. And we have to make people feel comfortable to join us. So what we can do, we will do. And sometimes you need to get advice because it's not easy to do it. Sometimes we get advice from some other churches who try it before us. And make a good example. You need to set up some program that welcome new people all the time. And make it a good example for the whole church to see that now we have more new people from different groups joining us. And they say that sometimes when you hire some staff, you need to open up. It's not just the people from your culture or the people who speak the language. You might open up for more people from different culture to work with you. And that's another way that you open up and open for new thinking, new idea. And people will see that you welcome differences. And they say the leadership need to support this idea. Doesn't mean that you let him do something by himself. If he can survive, okay. If he cannot survive, it's their problem. No. The whole church, the whole leadership need to support the idea of get staff from different culture to work with you, to work with your people. And make it happen. Support it and make it happen. Showcase means that you always emphasize about differences. You always emphasize about new team, new people who join your church or join your team that work together. And support new program that will bring new people, different people to your church. Make people feel comfortable that this is the church of God, not a church of one group. I know it's not easy to do, but we need to try and make it happen. And they say that all these things will happen. And on the mission project, you might start something different. In the past, we just think about mission to our own people, in our own country. But later on, we need to think about mission to the world, mean that wherever God opens, we send our people to evangelize anyone. I know the Bible says that start in Jerusalem, in Judea. It means that in your own people first, but Don't forget other people. When the apostle going out to Judea, to Jerusalem, they also encounter to Samaritan, Arab, and they don't ignore them. They also bring them to salvation too. So we need to think that way. And now we talk about lead pastor, or the top of the church. Because in American model, especially in most of evangelical, the lead pastor is the head, the one who make decision, the one who make things happen. So they put a lot of pressure on the lead pastor that the success will come from him or her. Without his support, all these things cannot be successful. So the pastor need to be intentionally, mean that he believe and he want to support the multicultural churches. It won't happen without his full support. And the pastor need to be open, mean that he cannot just think his way always right, but welcome new thinking, new idea. And the person needs to accept that we all bias, mean that we all have problems. We all have suspicion of differences from other group of people. So don't hide that you doubt. Don't feel bad that you are not sure, because this is normal. But we are working on it by the grace of God. And the leader need to be ready to be called out in the sense that whatever success or failure, we share all responsibility. Don't just blame your staff. Don't just blame your team. We all in together. And a lot of time, it's not just about race or different language or culture. It can be different belief, different theology too. Willing to learn, willing to share. All the leadership team need to be ready, learn new things, because we don't know everything. And a lot of new things is not easy, not comfortable. But in the church of God, that God wants us to welcome everyone, we need to willing to accept new things, new idea, and willing to work with people that we don't know, and learn how to overcome our fear of differences. And here they sum up what the lead pastor job need to do. Well, we already say that it depends on denomination. In the evangelical churches, the lead pastor have a lot of power. But in the Catholic Church or in many Lutheran or Episcopal, the pastor don't have a lot of power. The decision come from headquarters or from the leadership on top. So in order for the church to do something, it not depend on the lead pastor in those situations. But it doesn't matter what denomination you are. You as a leader, you still can do something to welcome different people into your congregation. It still starts with you, because you run the church every day. You see people all the time. You preach, you teach, and people respect you as the pastor. So you need to have the mind that open, the mind that welcome everyone, and make everyone feel comfortable to come to worship with you. So this is a few things that you need to do. And they say that in order to be successful, they suggest that the lead pastor or the leader on top need to have some skill. Without all this skill, it's going to be a very difficult job. You need to know how to manage, to guide your team. You need to know how to give counseling to your people and your team. And you know how to speak. You know how to lead. And you know how to convince people to work with you. But above all, you need to know the Bible well, because you need to teach them the fact, the theology from the words of God to support what you're going to do. A lot of leaders don't know Bible well enough to be sure that what they do is based on the Bible, the words of God or not. A lot of leaders just do according to politics or what people think at the time, and that is not correct. The pastor needs to base his teaching on the words of God, stand firm what God wants us to do at the church. So this is the whole thing about leadership in order to make your church diversified, to be a multicultural, multi-ethnic church. It starts with leadership and the team that welcome differences and not afraid to change, and welcome the second, the third generation to work with you. And that the future of our church can be. Another option is we close down, we don't welcome anything, and the church going to die with us. So which option will you choose? You want the church to die with you?
Don't have a church yet.
So what you're doing now is with whose church is that?
That's the place I go worship.
Oh, you are not part of the leadership?
Yes.
So when I say your church, I don't mean that you are the senior pastor all the time. Sometimes even you are the member or you are part of the team that your church to. I know that all of us represent an ethnic church, a church of one culture, one language. But we talk about the future. And when I talk about future, I don't mean far, far away. It might be in a few years. Our children already at that point either stay with us or left the church, go somewhere. You have a choice to let them go or make something at your church for them, for their future. What should you do in order to keep your children and grandchildren with you? What change you need to do? You have any idea what change you need to do so your children generation and grandchildren generation will stay with you or keep go on? But if you don't change anything, I think most of them will leave you. Or you think that it's okay?
There is no idea, John. We travel around and see all the whole United States. beside the United States, if the Lao, Thai, and Vietnam, they still have a youngster. But in the USA, I don't know, maybe they follow the time, or I don't know, Ajahn. Every church, I don't see all the young youth people. No,
Mm.
there is no more. No matter what we try our way, many idea still cannot get them come back. Such as like let them lead by themselves. Just whatever would they want, they still don't want to come.
They ever say any why?
No, just only said, like my kids, they said, oh, maybe we can go to, somewhere else, but I don't see that they go there very often. See, they might have an excuse. If we do something wrong, if they love to go another church, and then if they're continuing going and stay there, I don't see that, just only once in a while.
Mm.
I put my mind, I said, it's a time following the world right now.
Mm.
There's no way.
This way, we have to pray.
Yeah, you got it. The only
That's
one
the
way
way.
to
We have to
pray.
And
Mhm.
let God working in their heart. That's the way.
Yeah,
Right.
you're absolutely right. You are absolutely right.
That's the way. Pray, keep praying.
But we have to try, like Ajahn said, the lecture
Mm.
note here, many ways.
Yeah.
We should try all kind of way.
Mm. Yep, we learn all these things so we can try something.
Mm.
At least we say that we try.
Yep.
So, the next step I would advise of you, sit down with all the young people. Ask them, what can we do? What should we do? This is your church too. What you want? So I don't know about the young men adult revival next Saturday that we're going to have. They invite me to preach one time. And I know that Maysia will lead a workshop in the afternoon, 2 workshops.
Ajahn,
Mm.
are you going to go early by the time that they start, or just only the time that Ajahn preach?
The one that going to take me there, they might go in the late afternoon because
Okay.
I don't know Maysia what she going to do.
I want to go there from the beginning to the end. Let's see what they're performing.
Mm.
I don't know what I make it or not. So
Mm. Yeah, I'm not going to drive myself, but one member going to drive me there. So it depends on his schedule too.
okay. So we know that Ajahn have a driver, otherwise
Mm.
we can go together. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, let me check with them because we see what I can do because I don't know exactly what Maysia. She have told you what she going to do in her workshop.
She announced every week from last one. She talked about that, but not clearly.
Is parenting also?
Something like that.
I'm not sure.
We will see this week, and then we will see.
On
Yeah,
Friday.
I know she is the counselor on family something.
Could be.
Maybe the parenting, that's why she has one class to teach about the like young adult to how to take care of their children and about that workshop. So maybe that one, but I'm not really sure. So maybe you can find out. And I hope that she said that in English, it's not Mian.
There's no meaning for
Yeah.
youngster.
Yeah.
Mhm. And also there's no translation, no interpreter.
Yeah, first we thought that she go
No, this is for her own
yeah,
for the
that's
workshop.
But for me, I got to preach about Matthew chapter 6, verse 32, 33.
Chapter 6,
Matthew chapter 6,
I
verse
think that
32, 33. Okay.
I think the topic is about seek ye first the kingdom of God.
Seek in the kingdom of the God. Okay.
Yeah.
That's why I told my son, if you willing to go, and then I can to be a babysitter. But they say
We'll try. We will see.
yeah.
If I recruit all my children, they go, and then me and Farm, we can babysitter.
Well, take all the grandkids too.
Yeah, that's if not, and then maybe I can take all my grandkids. No, they don't.
No, they're
Ajahn,
not
they-
John.
they do allow this time.
They say no babysit provide, but if you babysit yourself, it's okay.
Oh, okay. They said that 25 up to 50 years old.
Now, in that meeting, they say anyone want to come, just come. Just no
Okay,
translation.
That's good. That's good.
They mentioned that a lot of old people want to come because they heard that I will go to preach.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, Ajahn.
And we announced too. We say Ajahn go there.
They said, oh, after I announcement, and I said from age 25 to 50, no up, no down. Everybody said, oh.
And
I
they
told them I am 71.
Good idea, John. And that way, then they can change their mind and then let all kind of age
Yeah,
from 5 to 80, 90.
yeah, because I too old for that group.
John, is that free or do we have to pay for it? Free, right?
I think it's free.
Okay.
oh yeah, make sure that if they have fee and then
No, I will find out. That's I have to announcement on coming week this week.
Okay, I think that one of the good movement that young people they want to do something.
We want to see this time, John, and then we're going to learn that. Let's see.
It just we need to support them.
yes.
So that's a good thing that young people want to do something for God, for the church. So I fully support them. So that the first start, the first movement, I want to see that all our Lao churches and some other group that young people want to step up to do something. Or even adult, we all people need to help them start something.
In our church, every year we have like youth they have the retreat or something.
We do.
Yeah.
That too.
Okay, you have anything else? If not, I could give you a break. it's going to be allowed 15-minute break,
Okay.
15. And I'm going to shut down for a few minutes and you sign back in after a few minutes, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.